because sometimes there is background noises when I'm presenting. I just want to make sure that you guys can all hear what I'm saying. So Cheryl, if you could put yourself on mute, please, that would be awesome. I think everybody else is muted. But if I do hear some background noises, I can always jump off and mute somebody if I need to. My name is Brittany Moulton. I am the Field Marketing Specialist here in Northwest Florida, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about our Moxi Appraisers package. So this is going to be a really unique class as we're using Moxi Present to run a CMA, and we're going to actually also add some appraiser items in it so that you can help the appraiser see the things that you really want them to look at when they come and appraise the property. Obviously, we can't steer them in any direction or persuade them. We're really just trying to give them all the information. And the goal of this is to get you from the bottom of the appraiser list to get you to the top, because everything, all your ducks are in a row. You have this laid out for the appraiser and it just shows initiative. So that's really what this class is going to be. So without further ado, again, if you could stay on mute during the class while I'm presenting. If you have a question, go ahead and throw it in chat. I get notifications on my cell phone, so I'll take a peek here and there to see if anybody's typing questions. Or if you want to stop me in the middle of the presentation, just make sure I hear you and you can take yourself off mute. But I am looking forward to spending this hour with you. Without further ado, I am going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see the screen. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in Moxi. So I went to mycbdesk.com and I'm going to find my Moxi tile. Mine are alphabeticalized. So I'm going to click on Moxi. You guys probably know Moxi looks a little different now that we have our new Moxi suite. So once this loads up, I'm going to click on the top right here where it says Moxi Present. So I want to be in Present because I'm going to build my CMA in Moxi Present. So let's load up Present. I want to make sure I'm in my training, my Florida training. So I have my MLS. So I'm just going to make sure your guys you won't have to do this, but I don't have access to MLS because I am not an agent. I am a trainer or a marketing person. So once we're here in the Moxi Present, you will see your prior presentations that you have here. So any of the listing presentations you've made should be housed here. But for the sake of this training, we're going to create our own new presentation. So we're going to click that Create New button. We are going to use the seller presentation types. If you're not familiar with Moxi, there's multiple things you can do in Moxi. You can do a listing presentation, a property review, a buyer tour, a buyer, and then a non-listing. So, but for the sake of this training, we are going to do seller. And I'm going to have to get my Caldwell Banker templates because I want to make sure it has all my CB stuff. So I'm going to take down this drop-down menu and choose Caldwell Banker templates. And for the sake of this training, I'm going to use a Florida, because I'm in Florida, Northwest Florida Silver listing presentation. I'm going to use my listing concierge and hit continue. And I'm going to prepare it for our training today. So I'm going to pretend I'm preparing it for a family or appraiser. So we'll say Mr. Smith. Maybe that's my appraiser's name. I'm going to change my MLS to the MLS that I'm a part of. So you should see only your MLS or MLSs that you are a part of under listing source, and then hit create. This is going to look pretty familiar if you've used Moxi. It's going to be the same process that we would use for a normal CMA. So you have a couple options here. This is kind of your dashboard control panel right here when you get dropped in. You can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get to your presentation. So you have to start with your subject property, then we'll do a search, then we'll see our listings, and then we'll get our estimate. So there's a couple steps that we have to go through. If you want to skip the steps, which you really wouldn't want to do at this point in time, you would just click these and it would take you to the next step. But we got to put in our information first because we actually have to and get our subject property in here. So a couple things you can do if the subject property that you're trying to get appraised has already been in the MLS in the last couple years, you can always use that MLS number. Just know if you use an MLS number, it is going to copy in all the data and it might not be accurate. Maybe the home was sold 10 years ago, there's improvements, different things have happened. So you do have the option to type in an MLS number, or you can type in that property address right here. So for the sake of this training, we're going to actually use my own property just because I have pictures and everything that I can show you guys with, and it's just easier. So I don't have an MLS number because my home that I bought was a custom build, so it was never in the MLS. So we're going to have to build this from the ground up. But normally, if the property has been in the MLS before, we would just type that MLS number in, and it would pull in all the data. So let's just pretend I click this one and I press copy. It would pull in all the data from this home. So this is another property in Pensacola. You're seeing it's pulling in the MLS photos. You're seeing it's pulling in all the information here about this, as well as the remarks. So if we're using the MLS, we want to make sure we come in here and we edit it. So, you know, there's sometimes funky stuff here in the remarks. Hearing a little bit of feedback. Could you mute yourself? Please. Thank you. Let's see if I can mute this person. It sounds like they're at the beach. I'm a little jealous. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So you need to come in here and edit it if you're pulling it from the MLS. So for instance, you know, sometimes it says in here, don't forget to let the cat out. Obviously, you're not going to want that in your remarks, as well as these pictures. So if it's not your listing and you did not take these pictures, you do not have rights to this picture. So you'd either have to go in and snap a picture from another, like from your phone, you drive by the property, snap a picture of the photo of the front of the house, or you could maybe even just put in a Canva Appraisers package image, or you know, you can always use the default one. If we replace it with the default image, it's just going to be that default image that we have. It takes a little bit to, there we go, the one with the couch and the sunflowers. So you have two ways of doing this. You can either type in a MLS, or you can type in the actual location like we're going to do today for the training. But I wanted to show you have two ways to do it. So let me go back and type in mine, just because I have all the pictures and stuff for the appraiser package. So let's search this one again. So here's my house. It moved it to where I'm at. So I am going to have to come in here and take out, it's still pulling in from this last listing. So let me, it's a single family. How many bedrooms? How many baths? Oops. 0. Okay. So you can see when you're filling it in by yourself, it's a little bit more comprehensive. Okay, Escambia County, 2-car garage, my roof, that out. And then you can put your remarks in here. So you could put great station. You know, I'm not going to waste my time writing a description of my property. I'm not going to put on the market, but I just wanted to show you that you could write your remarks here. Then you'd put your listing ID if you had the MLS. Mine was not. We're going to say it's right now, it's just other, it's off the market, and that is not the price. So now that I have my house in here, I actually have a picture of my home. So I'm going to upload that here. So you can just see this from start to finish, and it'll take a minute for it to upload. And then once I do that, I'm going to go continue. So I've put my home in. Now my home is in there, and the map is now going to bring me up some comps. So it's going to bring me up my map of where I live. So the star property is my property, the subject property in question. And then the red ones are recent listings that have sold around my property. So it's pulling up some comps here. So to get the best comps, we might want to filter it by bedrooms and baths. So maybe we want to look at bedrooms that are, since mine is a 5-bedroom, 5-bedroom to 6-bedroom, right? You guys are the expert when it comes to comps. I am not a licensed agent, so I don't want to give you extreme advice when it comes to comps. I'm just going to give you the information here and you can run with it, but you know exactly what to look for when you do a CMA. So you're going to want to filter it the way that you need to filter it for your comps. So you can change it by price. You can also click this filter button and you can filter it even more. So if you just want to do single family, maybe it's a condo, townhome, land, farm, square feet, when it was built, subdivision, waterfront. I mean, this gets really, really nitty gritty. You can talk about right here in the last 90 days, you can go out to 180 days. Probably wouldn't do that in this market. But you have the ability to really filter this to get the proper comps that you need to make this CMA for the appraisers package. So once this is pulled up, you're going to add with this little check mark or this little plus sign, the comps that you want to add to your appraisers package. So I'm going to add all the ones that have come up. And maybe I need to go out a little bit further. So I live kind of in a rural area. So maybe I might want to pull in this property here. This property is a different price point. But you can also draw on this map. So you can click a click draw and you can circle, I only want to focus on this area right here. And it will search the different comps and see if there's any other comps in that area. So you can see I kind of live in a pretty rural area, so comps are going to be a little bit difficult in this area, but you could also use that one outlier that was out there. So if we drew again, let's do another quick draw, and let's just take it out to like here and see what comes up here. So we had another one that was added. So this is the 725. So as you look at it, the price per square foot, that seems a little bit high side. So I might keep this one out, even though it's the same square foot and less bedrooms and baths. It must be a different location. So for my best guess judgment, I'm going to keep that one out of our comps. So once we've decided that we like the filters that we've created, we've seen the different ones, what we can do. You can also do a radius here. So instead of doing the draw tool, if you want to do a radius around here and go out, there's just different ways to really look to see if there's different comps. It's going to be the same as if we were to do it with the draw, just because the radius is the same thing. So once we have this ready to go, we are confident in our comps, we want to move forward to an estimate, we can. So let's go down to continue, because I picked 4 comps. So you can see I have 4 comps here. So once I get to this page, it's going to say my subject property, and it's going to have my 4 listings that I picked. One thing that you can do here on this page is add adjustments. So adding adjustment, like maybe a remark, maybe this property has the new roof. This one was just sold on 2/18. Maybe after they sold it, they put on a brand new roof or they put a pool in. You can add an amount or subtract an amount to really make those comps in your favor. So you can do that here. You can also remove a listing here if you decide while you're looking at it in this nice graph that maybe it's just not the right fit for you. Maybe the price per square foot is just not aligning. This one, maybe this 187 outlier is just, it's not what you need. You want more in the 194, 995s. That's what your house can be appraised for. So you'd want to come in here and look. You can also edit the remarks here, just like we did on the other page. So maybe you want to make sure it doesn't say, you know, don't let the cat out or whatnot. You can come in here and delete these if you don't want these remarks in your presentation. You can do that as well. And then you can also look at the listing details if you click on this, as well as all the photos. So it's going to pull in all the photos here and show you the listing in a more broad view. So this is a really great page because you can, obviously you can do your adjustments. You can kind of see what the listing details looks like. You can edit the remarks. And then on the right hand side, it gives you a really great snapshot. So it gives you the subject property, and then it has your bedrooms and bath right here, as well as your other subject properties. And it gives you that price and price per square foot. So you can really kind of see it. And then it gives you a all, average, and high. So it gives you that price range for your subject property. You can always add a custom listing. So if there's not a listing that you found and you wanted to add a couple, maybe you were doing a CMA in your MLS and there's a couple properties that you want to add, you can always click add custom listing and add it in manually using the MLS number. Or at the bottom here, if you decide you don't like the way that this looks and you feel like you really do need some extra listings, you would click add more listings and it'd take you back to our map and you could continue to do your search. So I'm going to pretend that we are happy with our CMA. We are happy with our subject property and the properties that we found. Before I move on to actually adding it to the presentation and really going into the nuts and bolts of Appraiser's package, does anyone have any questions? Let me pause for a second, look at the chat. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for recording. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Okay, no questions. Wonderful. If you have a question and you want to jump off mute, let me know. Let me minimize this. Okay, so now we have our subject properties. We're ready to go. We're going to hit that continue button. And now it's going to give us an estimated price. So it's going to take the average of all the homes that we just picked up in our CMA and give us an average. So, you know, it depends on who you are and your listing. You may not want to put that price point if you're having an appraiser come. You might want to create a range, or you might want to put 0, or you might want to put what you want it to appraise at. So that's going to be to your discretion. So you can create a range. So maybe you want to go within 2% of this range. And you really want this range to be where you're going to present to the appraiser. And maybe you need to put in some remarks here. Maybe you need to defend some of the reasoning that you came across the CMA, right? Remember, we're not trying to steer the appraiser. We're not trying to violate any RESPA laws, but we are trying to give them the most information that we can and educate them for what we know, right? We're the experts. We know the property. We know the upgrades that are in there. We know some things that appraisers neglect to see. And the point of this is to be able to give them something to look at to see, okay, well, you know, maybe I need to really take this into account. Not that they don't know how to do their job, right? But sometimes they skip over things. You know, we're all busy and they have a lot of homes they're appraising. We just want to help them. So maybe you're going to put your remarks in here, you know, new pool, new roof, new water heater, things that you really want to highlight here for the reasons why you're coming to that price point. So when I hit the continue button, if you played with Moxi, you know that it's going to take you to your presentation. So for the sake of this, since we really aren't going to use this for a listing presentation, we're really going to use this for an appraiser. We really don't need any of this fluff. What we really need is that CMA. So I need to come over here to the add page, and I need to add from library, and I need to pick up the property summary. So I need to add that. I also need to add the listing location map. I need to add the listing overview with the comparable listings. I need to add the side-by-side comparisons, the status comparisons, the listing averages, price and days on market, price and size, my pricing analysis, and I'm going to leave out purchase costs and net proceeds because appraiser does not need to know that. That's not important to them. So now you can see I have 26 pages. So if I click back over here on pages, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see the first thing I have is the property summary. Again, this is my photo I took. I have the rights to it. It's got my listing map, location map. So it's showing me exactly where the subject property is, my listing, and the comps that I pulled and the location. There are also live links that they can click on. So when you send this out to a appraiser in an email, however way that you choose to send it, we'll talk about that in a minute. These are live clickable links, and this is actually connected to the MLS. So this is always gonna, let's just pretend you used a pending one, and maybe you sent this to the appraiser, and 2 days later you open it up and you see the pending went to sold. This is live, so this is updating all the time. So just keep that in mind. You've got your listing overview. You've got your side-by-side comparison. So this is going to show us our side-by-sides, full bath, square feet. You've got your status comparison here. This is very simple in the sense this is just like a normal Moxi presentation. But we're going to get into the nitty-gritty here in a minute. And then you've got price days on market, price and size, pricing analysis, and then you go to your agent profile. So you might not want to have your agent profile. You could have it on an appraiser's package. I wouldn't suggest. It would be great to have your information in case they need to call you right away. Some of the things you don't need this number one. An appraiser is not going to care about us being number one in Miami, in Florida or Northwest Florida. I mean, it's great. And again, the reason why I chose the Silver Listing Concierge package for this training is just a shameless plug for Listing Concierge. You should be using it on every one of your listings. It's amazing. Make sure you take a class on it. So I'm going to close these out because we really don't need the Listing Concierge in this package. We really just want to focus on the CMA, and we are going to add some custom slides that I'm going to show you how to do that are really going to help you with the appraiser. So let me just click out of these real quick. All right, we don't need all of this fluff. And one more to click out of. And then bada boom, bada bang. Okay, so now we have our cover page and all of our CMA. A couple other things that you might want to add, right? So number one, you're going to want to add the contract, the listing agreement. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to hit add page and create new. And let's upload a PDF. Let's upload one of our contracts to here. Let's just pretend it's our listing agreement. So let me go into my Moxi training folder. I do have a listing agreement somewhere here. I think it actually might be a picture and not a PDF. Let me hit create new, build my page, and load it as a picture because I believe I have it as a picture and not as a PDF. So if I wanted to add a picture, I'm just going to come here to image and upload. There it is. Here's my contract. So I'm going to want to upload my contract, my listing agreement for the appraiser, and hit add. That's going to add my contract here. So I want to save that. And thanks. Just want to make sure I saved it correctly. Okay, so the name of this page is going to be listing contract, and the description is just going to be contract. We're going to save it to my pages and hit save. Okay, so my custom page was now saved. So if I go back, here it is. So I've got my listing contract now ready for the appraiser to see that I've got the listing agreement signed. We might want to move that one down. As you know, Moxi is very versatile. You can kind of move these things around. This might be at the end before your agent profile, maybe after the CMA. You'll have your listing contract. A couple other things you want to think about when you are doing an appraiser's package like this, you might want to add some items that you put in your remarks that really made this property shine. So if we hit add page and we hit create new, we're going to build that custom page again. You can always upload a PDF too. So maybe you need to upload insurance. Maybe you need to upload tax information. Maybe you need to upload any other documents that you think might be helpful for the appraiser. I have a list that I'm going to share with you guys at the end, but those are some examples. You could upload a PDF, but most of the time you're probably going to build your own page. So one of the things that we might want to add is this 4 item slide. And if I hit create, maybe we want to add the fact that this property has a new pool. So you'll want to upload the picture of the pool. Obviously, the appraiser is going to see the pool in the backyard. Hopefully, they're doing their job. But you might want to just highlight it and say, subject property has only pool in area, and it's an in-ground gunite pool. Things that you just want to highlight. So here I'm uploading my pool here. Y'all are getting a sneak peek of where I live. Don't come for me. Then maybe here you want to add the text over here. So to the left is the pool, 2 years old, beautiful pool with waterfall, salt system, gunite, travertine coping, whatever you want to say here for the appraiser to see. You could type out your bullet points here. So you can make them little bullet points. So salt water pool, 2 years old, new landscaping, right? Just there's so many things that you could add here to just kind of lay it out for the appraiser, but you guys get the gist here. Then maybe I want to add a picture over here. Maybe I have a new tankless hot water heater versus the old one. So I want to add that in here. And, you know, maybe I want to add another image of, let's see here, what else do I have? Maybe I redid my kitchen. Now these are pictures that are not my house, but that's okay. I'm just showing you an example. I'm showing you the before and the after of a new kitchen. And we can always, you know, depending on how many slides you want to add, maybe you need to add one slide with the pool and all its remarks. Then you add another slide that talks about the water heater and all its remarks. And same thing with the kitchen. So it depends on you and how you really want to lay this out, but you have the capability of really creating a really great presentation for the appraiser so that you can just hand it to them and say, here are all the things that I walked through the house, and this is where I came to my price. So once you have the page the way that you like it, we're going to hit save again. And then we're going to name the page. So we'll name the page as special features. And description will be added value to home. And then you would hit save, and it's going to save it to your listing presentation. So if we go back up to my presentation, here is our beautiful picture that we created. So we're talking about the pool, we're talking about what the pool offers, the kitchen, and the hot water heater. A couple other things that we want to think about adding is going back to our add page and creating new. We're going to build out another new page. Let's do this two side by side. You have the ability to upload a video. So a great video to upload is maybe if you have a item in the property that's hard to find, right? Maybe you have multiple electrical boxes that have been rewired, and one is in the closet, or we know the appraiser does this due diligence, but it's just really great for them to come into the home and already know what they're looking for. You could do a video tour of the property and, you know, show them where the electrical boxes are, where the hot water is located. For instance, next to my hot water, I have a rain soft system. You could talk about that, or maybe there's solar panels, right? So there's a lot of different things and features you could highlight so that the appraiser feels like they kind of already have a feel for it before they get there. All the videos are going to have to come from YouTube. So you are going to have to take the video and upload it to YouTube. So let's upload. I'm going to show you how to upload a video. It's very simple. So you're going to go to YouTube. You're going to grab your tour. So let's just go to home in Northwest Florida. Let's just pretend this is our tour of our home. So I'm going to pause that and I'm going to click video, and it wants my video URL. So I'm going to come and hit that share button, copy my URL, paste it right here and add. So now I'm going to have that YouTube video of my walkthrough of my home. And then maybe here on this text, I just want to highlight some more features of, you know, maybe a running list of things that I think are very important, like solar panels. Maybe I want to talk to them about the water heater again, new roof, new landscaping, right? So there's so many things that you can talk about on these pages. And you can change the font here, so you can format it differently. You can do large text if that's too small. You can change it to a different font. You can change it to bold, italic, right? So there's some options there if you don't like it so small. And then this is the header, right? So you could add another header right here, but I'm going to just save it as is. So I'm going to save this as a video tour of home. If I can type at the same time. So then this will be saved. And then I will click out of here. And here is my next slide. So it's got my video tour with my different types of bullet points that I really want the appraiser to go in and look at. So some examples, I have a Word document that I can put in the chat, but here are some things that you might want to put in your appraiser's package. The property description, which we've already done, the CMA comps, Suggested list price range, we've talked about that. Community highlights and information, transportation, shopping, medical, schools, major roadways, and interstate proximity to subject property. That's a big one. That's something that appraisers really use, is the interstate's proximity. So that would be something great to add. Property video with updated highlighted. We just talked about that. The contract showed you how to upload that. The deed, the tax data, plats, the survey. The survey is a good one. MLS printout. So if you just wanted to download the MLS printout and put that in your presentation, you could. Before and after property photos. So if you're using, for instance, maybe you're using Revitalize with Caldwell Banker. So maybe you want to update those pictures with the before and after. Any HOA information, that's a good one. Warranty, market snapshot using MarketQuest V2. So you could run a market snapshot and add that into your presentation just for more collateral. And then any miscellaneous information that you think that the property appraiser might need. So this is a really great checklist. So I will share this with you in the chat, but I just want to show you now that you have your presentation. You want to come back in here and you want to make sure that it looks exactly how you want it to look. So you have your cover page, and apologies, I'm using the training, so my picture's not pulling through. You've got your property summary. Again, we've kind of walked through these, but let's go to the ones that we took. Special features that we added with the pool, the kitchen, the video tour, and then your agent profile too. So this is a really great way to just really get in front of those appraisers and hopefully get you to the top of the stack. So now if you're ready to send this, how you would do that is you would either click this send button and you could email it to the appraiser. So you can send the presentation or you can send it as a PDF. Obviously, if you're sending it as a PDF, the video link is not going to work. So you might want to send it as, you know, a live link. So who it's to, right? So then your subject and your message, and then send a copy to yourself. So you'd want to put the person's email here, the subject, the greeting, and then the message and the body of it. So if you were going to send it as a PDF, just remember those live links are not going to be live. It has to be web-based to be live. And then of course you can come in here and press the print view. And if you want to look at what your video tour of home looks like in the print, it's going to look kind of funky because that video link isn't there. So you would have to customize that, maybe take out that page if you were going to print this and bind this and hand it to the appraiser. So some agents, what they do is they send this prior to the appraiser coming out. And some agents, what they'll do is they'll bind it and have it at the home for the appraiser to kind of use it as a guide. So you have a couple different options. We found, and the reason why we came up with this class is with appraisers, you know, taking forever. I think it slowed down a little bit more, at least in our area, we're seeing appraisal times back in the normal range, but for a while there, we were not. This would help set you apart and kind of move your packet to the front because you had your ducks in a row and you already had it laid out for them, that it was a simple job and it wasn't as convoluted. So it's just a great way also to kind of argue your argument, right? Sometimes we have to argue against the appraiser, and this is a way to kind of put an appraisal package together with your lender and really go after that appraisal. If you need to, you can use this as a tool as well. So actually that is pretty much the end of the presentation. We got through that really fast with no questions. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to check I had some questions. Okay. Let's see. Let me go all the way up to okay. I cannot see the link with your YouTube channel. I did see the screen when you popped open the chat. You are great. I'd love to visit and subscribe to your channel. Okay, so I think she left, so I will address her after. Oh, no, she's still here. So basically what you need to do is you just need to share the link like you would. You need that hyperlink that you would share to social media and put it back into the presentation. I assume that if there are any adjustments made to any of the comparables, the estimated value will include adjustments. So you'd have to make those adjustments in that screen I showed you. So you'd have to go in there and manually add those adjustments, and it would, and it tells you plus or minus how much money you think that those adjustments need.
Brittany?
Yes, ma'am.
Just like that. You said that you had initially when I asked if you were going to be able to record, you said, yes, I have my YouTube channel link on the top of the chat, but as I scroll up on the chat, I can't see it. However, that's what I meant by the YouTube channel link. When you went to the chat itself, when you showed it on the screen, I saw the link up top, but as I scroll through the chat, I don't see your link. So if you could just repost your YouTube link. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. I get what you're asking now. Tracy and Tom, did that answer your question? I assume that there have been any adjustments made to any of the comparables. Estimated value will include the adjustments. You make that, and then you have to put the plus. Okay.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Chris, that's a great question. That is in my, like I said, I am not a realtor. I'm not licensed. So that was in one of the things that I got from some agents on some suggestions that they should put in their presentation. So if you think that the appraiser doesn't need the listing agreement, then you don't need to put it in there. Just some suggestions. I had the same questions, Chris. Okay. I think she meant sales contract. Yeah, probably meant the sales contract. You are correct. That makes sense, James. Thank you. Can you share the Word doc? Thank you, Brittany. Yep, I will share that Word document right now in the chat. Will you be emailing me the recorded session? So good question. So the link above to my YouTube channel is where I upload all of my videos. So that's where you're going to need to go to get the recording. It will be available in the chat. You'll see once everybody gets off this meeting, it'll say the recording is ready. And once it is ready, then I will be able to you'll be able to see it, and then I'll be able to put it right in there in my YouTube channel. That's a good call. Floor plan is a good idea to add. I'm going to add that to the Word document before I send it to you guys. I like that. Any other ideas that you guys have that we can make this better for you? That would be awesome as well. But I will link the here. Link, subscribe. I will check later for the video. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me stop the recording now because I'll stick around here for questions.